Yo, what's up guys? A video on Spiritual Realm, and this is one of the dungeons that I actually never really recommend to farm. And the main reason for that is the drop table is just really bad. Seal runes are bad, fight runes are good, determination runes are bad, enhance runes are kind of okay-ish, accuracy runes are bad, and tolerance runes are bad. So pretty much just all bad runes. But since we have the event right now where you can select that you're only getting fight runes, it actually does become interesting to get those fight runes in and then also have a fast team on this. So for that reason, I'm farming this, showcasing how it works. And there's maybe another thing on these events where you can get more fight runes if you want, but I'll also showcase that later as well. So first of all, what's the team? Well, it's a pretty typical team, which you have seen probably multiple times. I did kind of give my twist to it, what I think is the best way to farm this and why it is the best way to farm this. However, it's pretty typical. I tried to get a team with like a Clara, one-shotting waves, like with the double AI, perfect AI, whatever, like kind of stuff, but in the end, none of that really was that interesting, and for that reason, I just went for a typical team. It does run pretty fast. I've seen like 18 seconds on it. Average is about like 30 seconds. First of all, just starting with the runes and why the runes are there. I made my Verdi heal at a plus 65. That was the main aim for me. And I went for double fight and a shield set. I think it's recommended to get a shield set in because this boss does have that mechanic that if there's more buffs, you get your more crit rate back. I think it works with shield sets as well. To be honest, I'm not even entirely sure. But yeah, just a fight set with shield with the most leftover runes and then also damage wind and then crit damage 1. Seek I specifically aimed for 128 speed. Because of that, you're at tick 5 and then the next unit can move, which in my case is the Shina, which will move in tick 6. And then the rest are just all moving after that. But to get this one exactly on tick 5, together with a 28 lead, you need 128. So for that reason, Seek has that. I had to put a crit rate slot 4 because I don't have a crit damage slot 4 to fill this out to be like good enough crit rate and crit damage. But he does less damage anyway, so he also has like the worst of like the damage on fire and then also just crit damage 1. Because he still comes up in like team ups and that kind of stuff, so I went for crit damage 1. So this is the unit I was talking about that's going to be in the tick 6, needs to be at least plus 91. I went for 85 crit rate, I think it's enough. In this case, I also went for Shine a triple fight. I would not really recommend most people to go triple fight. If you have some decent fight runes already, triple fight is definitely fine. You want to go for 35 accuracy, that part is important. Also damage on wind, like the typical stuff. But you can put this towards damage dealer as well. So what are the actual damage dealers are the Raoak and the Astar. The main reason that I went for Raoak as a damage dealer is because I want Raoak to be able to clean up the waves the moment that there's an armor break from China. So even if Raoak goes for an S1, he can still clean up waves and he can get the multiple turns in, and that makes the run a lot faster than if it can't. So the good runes are on Raoak in this case, with also damage on wind and then crit damage S1, because the crit damage S1 is the important part. Like, okay, if he goes for an S1, that's the moment he has to kill. Like on an S2, like a team up, you always kill. That's not an issue. But on the S1, it's a little bit more tricky. So that's also therefore that unit moving at that position. And then for these units, it's just simply you have to move in front of the vert, which, yeah, whatever speed that is, but in front of the vert. And also Astar I actually put on the highest damage that I have because she just does a shit ton of damage. Aiming also for that damage on wind. And then in this case, I did some co-op damage, but maybe crit damage S1 or S2 is like just fine as well. But that's pretty much the rules, how it is or where it's working towards. If we're checking out the run, it's pretty straightforward. Like we try to get that in, like that's pretty much the fastest way to clear it. It's also best if there's a team up with the Seek. And as you can see, like these runs are just incredibly fast. It's mainly really depending on like team ups, and those were all like pretty much perfect team ups. Okay, that one was not. Oh, we still clear in like a super fast state. So yeah, in the end, this run is super fast, but it's also very depending on like, okay, who did you team up with? Because if you don't team up with the Astar, runs are going to be a lot slower. If you do team up with the Astar, whole run is dead. Especially if Shina did the right skill. Shina doesn't go for the right skill, you don't have the right team ups, and this happens. It takes quite a bit more time. Like the difference is really there. So therefore, I wanted to go for a team that had like some perfect AI mechanic of always clearing the wave. But then I saw this team running on some other people showcasing it, and I was like, wait, it's kind of hard to make it consistent at the boss if you go for like a Clara and then something like that for cleaning up waves. So in the end, I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to run this all too long anyways, because I'm literally just going to run this for 3 hours. and then switch it back. But for those 3 hours, I do definitely recommend to try to aim for a fastest team as possible, because that's where you can get in all of those fight runes. So I still have 1 hour left of those. Let me get in those fight runes. We'll do that last hour on that right now. A tip is, if you really want to min-max it, you kind of want to start a dungeon the moment your dungeon is nearly finished. You want to enable that drop extra thing that you always get fight runes, because then that last final run that you're doing is going to be a fight rune guaranteed. Well, unless you drop any of the other like drop things. It's kind of sad that they still keep in like the other drop tables that you're getting, like the pieces and that kind of stuff. That's all kind of still nonsense that it's in there. That's just give me only fight runes if I'm claiming this thing on fight runes. Like, these things are so rare that I would say it wouldn't be that OP if we just remove the whole drop table. Like, you don't even get mystical scrolls, you don't get nothing, you just get that specific rune that you were selecting. So yeah, some cases it does go a little bit slower on these runs because something dies or anything like that. But yeah, it's in the end not that bad of a run. Would I keep this? Personally not, but I think some people might even be keeping this. Fight runes are definitely runes that a lot of people might say like, okay, definitely do lower your rune standards on that because you don't happen to have that many of it. Still have to grind like a few of them, but for example, I did get this quad roll on crit damage. It is a quad roll that's like a maxed out triple actually, but these kind of runes definitely will help you out with all of your PvE stuff, because a lot of the PvE stuff that I do and the fast teams that I have are based off that I have decent to good fight runes. Like, if you check in the end, I have like 260 fight runes, and a lot of them are pretty decent. Like, sure, if we're checking like specific slots, attack slot 2, a lot of my attack slot 2s are pretty bad. I even use some 5 stars in there, but that is definitely something that I could also improve on. And in the end, it's so easy to get like the grinds for it right now, because you get the grinds all the time, and that just makes it a lot easier to get those things in. But I was also talking about another thing, how to also get fight runes, and that is something that's more optional, but it might be something that you might be looking for, especially if you're lacking fight runes. I would highly recommend it. Personally, I'm kind of on the point that I would say like I'm kind of okay-ish with my fight runes that I have. I don't really need too many more. But if you don't really have that many fight runes, and you also don't really plan to farm many fight runes, because I don't really recommend it, the dungeon is just shit. But what you can do is you have this Collab Shop, and currently the Collab Shop is just being released for a few days. Most people will not have that many points to clean out the shop already. But we still have like 52 days left. Already did 9k points. I tend to do quite some farming and that kind of stuff. So I kind of cleaned out the whole shop already, except for buying these. But afterwards, you buy these. And what can you buy here is, of course, I think for beginner accounts, you're gonna go for these unknown scrolls. It's just useful to get a lot of 6 stars in, to just get a lot of unknown scrolls in. Later game accounts, you don't really care about it. And the only actual thing that you can buy is like the rune pieces, and then any of those. You could say that you want to farm for a specific thing. Let's say, okay, I don't really farm any necro ever, but I want some more rage runes. It is a possibility to get rage runes here for like specifically. Sure, you're not gonna get great rage runes because we're still getting the blue 5-star whatevers, but blue 5 stars, or at least any kind of fight runes, might help you. So it's actually not too bad to go for, like, I think a lot of people would just go like, okay, I'm just gonna buy Vio here, like all the time, Vio. That's what I'm gonna do. But if you do really know that you're lacking fight runes, I could recommend you to say like, okay, buy the pieces and then also buy fight runes. Or buy the pieces for like crafting fight runes. Because if you craft fight runes with this, like in the end, the crafting runes that you're gonna get is very unlikely that you're gonna get upgrades from them. Because getting legendaries from them 6-star is literally like 1 in 20 or 1 in 30 crafts or something like that. But if you're crafting and you only need like a good blue on a specific slot because an attack slot 2, or you only need like a hero with like just like a double roll and then a side roll and something else, those are like pretty doable if you craft fight runes. So it's not really something that I would say like, oh, you should do that. But if you have pretty bad fight runes, then it's a high recommendation to get more fight runes in that way. Because in the end, if I get a rune like this, it has to pretty much triple roll in speed for me to become interesting if it was a Vio rune. However, if it's double rolled into speed, 1 roll into crit rate, it is an interesting rune for me for fight. And like I said, I already have pretty decent fight runes. For people that don't have any decent fight runes, then pretty much just the rune that I just had right now. Like, okay, sure, this is not going to get your upgrade, but it's gonna be relatively easy to get upgrades, and this is kind of too bad. Well, I could aim that like high accuracy could be a something. Weirdly enough, I almost think that this is a key because I don't really have too many crit rate slot 4s. Even for someone that claims that he has decent to okay-ish fight runes. Wait, let me see, because I think I literally have just a few of them. I added one more that I can grind here. Yeah, I literally had like 3 of those before I started farming fight earlier. So, and those were just these 3. And I was already keeping one that's pretty much absolutely garbage. So yeah, this is definitely better than the garbage that I had over there. Actually, all 3 of them are not really too great. So I could still grind in speed in here for something if I need anything like this. I don't know. But yeah, definitely with fight runes, don't be too picky on your fight runes. Fight runes in the end are just the team up things. They're gonna end up at units that care a little bit less about whether they do the most amount of damage. But fight runes for any PvE stuff, very, very useful. Also, fight runes, if you happen to get very fast fight runes, you could put fight runes on like a triple fight speed lead. You could put fight runes on a Dova next to your Lucian. So instead of going swift broke, you go swift fight. So fight runes are definitely very useful in those kind of scenarios with Siege as well. RTA, probably not really unless you get like a set that's just super good with fight. And keep in mind, technically you only need one good fight rune if you want to place towards RTA if you use an intangible rune next to it. So if you happen to get like one super fast fight rune and you want to make that a pair, you happen to get a fast intangible rune as well, or just an intangible slot 2 on speed, you do get a good fight set in there already with RTA as well. So fight runes, definitely something you do want to farm. So definitely the recommendation is there that if you think about it like, maybe I should do some extra fight runes from the crafting thing the moment that you're done with buying the whole shop and all of the skill ups and everything else that you want to do. Get some more fight runes. Guys, that's my recommendation from me to you today. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab, which has the dungeon guide archive and the video guide archive, which contains all of the guides that you need. Hope to see you there.